Hey everybody, it is Nathan Selove, and with me is the wonderful Alex Brimmer, which I just learned is pronounced Brimmer and not Brimmer. I've known him for like a year, and I never came out, so...
You've known my wife longer, and
yeah,
I've
known them for longer, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't know how that's pronounced. I just realized that.
Well, yeah, I always thought of them as just Casey Ann. I never...
Yeah, like you don't think of like the last name, I guess.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about autism and video games. Alex here is a YouTuber who discusses video games on his YouTube, and he plays video games and all that. And I just want to talk a little bit about what about video games attracts autistics, because I myself am a gamer, and I interviewed Nathaniel Bandy on this channel a while back, and he's a major gamer, he's a major YouTube guy. So what about video games do you think attracts autistics?
I can't really speak for like other autistics, because I really only understand my own experience, but it's almost like I get to play like I'm in this fantasy world, so it's a great way to like escape, and it's a great way, like when I was a kid I would like role play the characters. I'd pretend I was those characters, and like that's obviously not socially acceptable in real life, so the video games let me play out like I could be whoever I want to be, or be the characters in the game, and I guess that was my way of dealing with being so socially inept and socially awkward myself, without understanding. I didn't know anything about autism growing up or anything, so there weren't really any resources for me. But for me, that was the biggest thing, is just like that I created my own world, my own narrative by playing these video games, I guess. And in a way, like, at least someone was listening to a story I was telling.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way I can explain that.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if I said this yet, but he is autistic as well. So I don't know if I said that. That's why I haven't.
Yeah, well, I figured they would assume that, but it's also good to like. Yeah, by the way, like, that's why we're talking about this.
That's why I'm here. So I remember I was watching this. I was watching this video recently where there was this expert who was talking about video game addiction, and he was talking about why a lot of people who are kind of bored in schools are very attracted to video games. And as soon as he said that, my first thought was, well, they're probably autistic if they're bored.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, not all necessarily, but like, but he was talking about the how video games kind of have that that level up aspect of. It continues to get harder, and once you complete a challenge, you're ready for another challenge that's just a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and there's also like the reward system too. Like, you don't really get that unless you're in like a special class where like you get like specific accommodations and a specific teacher, and like I never really got that, but like you get like rewarded for leveling up, and you like there's an end goal. Like when you're in school, like, it doesn't feel like there's an end goal. It's really just like get to the next grade and do the same thing over again, sort of thing. My issue was also that I was bored because like the work was too easy. Like, that was I feel like a lot of people have I feel like that's a common thing too, is like the work's too easy, so like it's boring. You're not being challenged enough.
Yeah.
So
and also, autism is often characterized as like having trouble reading social cues, or at least neurotypical social cues.
Yeah.
So would you say that, do you think video games might actually teach a little bit about responding to social cues? I mean, unless of course you're playing Mass Effect, where they don't have any emotions at all when they're talking. It's just, I am talking to you right now. Like, unless you're playing a BioWare game. But would you say that video games might actually have some kind of impact on teaching social cues?
I mean, yeah, in some games I've had experience with, like it. Gosh, how do I put this into like like words? Like in real life, there's no menu, there's no options for what you say to a person, and there's no little meter that comes up to tell you, like, oh, your friendship level with this person is leveled up, or like anything like that. It's just not obvious. But in video games, it's pretty obvious, especially with like role-playing games and stuff. Like, there's a little menu, and it's like, pick one of these options on how you want to respond to this person, and then that person responds, and then you may get like better points with that person, or you may be on the road to like a better ending for the game or something like that, depending on what the game is. So I feel like in a way, like you learn a little something, even if it sounds silly, like you're choosing options and it's so structured, but I feel like that's how a lot of autistics' brains work. Like, if things are obvious and laid out in front of them, then that makes it easier to kind of figure out socializing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna let you give a plug for your channel before we go.
Yep. You can find me at Alex J. Brimmer on YouTube. That's the URL, but I'm at that name on every social media platform, and I'm assuming that's going to be in the description of the video.
Yeah, it's going to be in the description. I'm also going to put a overlaying link on this video as well. But there's definitely going to be a link in the description. You should definitely subscribe to this guy if you're interested in video games and stuff. He's really cool, you know.
Cool, you know.
Alright, well, that's today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my other stuff, and I will see you next week.